This is Melissa Agnes, author of Crisis Ready, Building an Invincible Brand in an Uncertain World. Remember that success is a choice. What choice will you make today?
Providing insights to help you grow your business, improve yourself, and add value to those around you. You're listening to the Success is a Choice podcast, where you get a peek into the lives of industry leaders as they share their stories with you.
Welcome to Success is a Choice podcast. I'm your host, Jamy Bechler, and today we have a celebrity joining us on the show. Her YouTube videos have been viewed more than 700 million times. Nicole Arbour does a little bit of everything. She's an entertainer, comedian, singer, actress, choreographer, t-shirt designer, motivational speaker, business consultant, and is the voice of reason or the voice of insanity, depending on your perspective. This former Toronto Raptors cheerleader, though, has an amazing story of overcoming a debilitating accident that can provide us with insights and inspiration. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, doing great. I appreciate your time today. I know you're really busy, walking the red carpets, things like that. I saw Instagram, getting pictures with Snoop Dogg and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you taking time for us.
You're silly. Thank you for having me. And yeah, the last one was the Maxim Hot 100 red carpet, and that just felt silly. Just even like the title of the event, Hot 100, it's wonderful. It's nice to be included, but it also feels really silly, especially with like real life.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it this year. I wasn't able to go over there, for that. So I'm glad you were able to represent me.
Yeah, for sure.
What is there a celebrity like on your bucket list of someone you'd like to meet that maybe you haven't met yet?
Well, that would have been Robin Williams. And unfortunately, I'll have to wait until I go to the big comedy store in the sky. But yeah, that one would have been awesome. Right now, the ones that I want to meet, I almost don't want to just in case, because last year I met a bunch of people I looked up to and a couple of them were really douchey. So I kind of want to keep the mystique in my head just in case. But I love Macklemore and I'd love to meet him. He's just awesome. And then there's a couple different comics too, but I don't know if I want to meet them or not. I don't know. I'm nervous now.
Well, that is the problem with humans, is that we're human. And that we're not perfect, and we're always going to let down people.
Human is fine by me. Dual personality is what creeps me out. Like, because I just come at everything I do like I'm just me. So when I see people have a brand that they put forward, and I'm like, oh, that's who that person is, and then I meet them, and they're the polar opposite of everything they pretend to represent. That's what gets me.
So you run in circles, or at least rub elbows with people that most of us only see on TMZ or on TV. But who was the last person you were kind of starstruck? Like you maybe got tongue-tied, or you just were really nervous when you met them?
Oh, gosh. That doesn't happen that often, to be honest. Yeah, that doesn't really happen to me that often, but a really fun thing happened on the weekend and this is just law of attraction. I'm not sure if you're all up in that business, but I sure am. And last week, Trevor Noah was talking some ish about the French national soccer team that just won the World Cup. So I rebutted him and a whole bunch of people jumped in defending him, defending me, whatever. But then I got a message from the French team laughing at my jokes about Trevor. And then I'm at this party the other night and someone comes up to me and they're like, hey, somebody wants to meet you. And I walk a couple feet into the back and it was the French team that just won the World Cup and they handed me the World Cup.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It's ridiculous. Like how fast that worked in a chain was hilarious.
Well, that's the wonders too of social media nowadays, which we'll definitely get into here in a little bit. But I want to go back. Most of our listeners are probably familiar with you, but regardless, a lot of them may not be familiar with your backstory. And let's go back to 2008. You're a big deal in Canada. You're starring on the top comedy show, I guess, on Canada's MTV.
Yeah.
But you were involved in a car accident. Take us through that and how that kind of led to having a mind shift or kind of developing who you are now.
For sure. So 2008, I had one day off from shooting a feature film that I was in. Super excited. And I was getting out of a taxi when we were going to karaoke and we were rear-ended while I was getting halfway out of the cab. So my back was twisted. I hit my head on the door frame 3 times. Just really, really bad lower back injuries, neck injuries, bad head injury. And that led into being disabled. So officially disabled. And then I was in bed for most of 6 years after that, most days, and chronic pain to a degree so severe that I was clenching my teeth in my sleep and cracking my own teeth and swallowing them while I was sleeping. Like I'd wake up with less teeth than I went to bed with. And just, you laugh, but it's crazy. And it's like the head injury stuff was so weird too, because I went from, normal girl, as normal as I ever was, and was suddenly doing things like I was in the shower with my clothes on and didn't know what was wrong. But I knew something was weird. And it would take me a few minutes of being soaking wet in the shower to even register what happened. So it was, I've had a couple concussions, and that one just really took me out and took me to post-concussive syndrome and all sorts of things, like not being able to find words and just a lot of really awful stuff for many years. And then after I was told that I wouldn't get better, that everything was degenerative and I'm going to be on disability for life, I was approved for disability, I just had a light bulb go off one day when I was on the floor of my grandma's house where I spent most of my days. And I just said no. I just said no more. I always like to say that I heard Denzel Washington in my head being like, it's not time to give up, it's time to get up. Like I had to remember the Titans moment going on. And I don't know what language you use on this podcast, but I had a big F you to all this crap moment. And I literally tore up my disability certificate and I said, I don't care. I'm getting better. I don't care what they say. I'm here for more. I'm going to do more. And with the little bit of money that I had, I took myself to a bookstore. I'd never done anything like this. And I bought 2 Louise Hay books and a little candle. And then I just started on this totally different mind-shifting journey. And the amount of pain, like physical pain that I had to go through with crazy treatments and all sorts of stuff, it's a mental fight to get through, and to get through depression and to get through all the things I was going through. It's all a mental fight. And now I just feel like I have this crazy arsenal of mental martial arts. And I'm just so excited to not only use it, but to teach it to other people.
So do you have to karate chop that stuff still daily? Do you still have pain physically? Do you still have the mental issues every day that you have to deal with?
I don't have mental issues. I'm not going to say it like that.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, that's a great soundbite for people that don't like you. Yeah. See, she has mental issues.
I don't have mental issues, no. But physical pain is something that I work through often. I'm always careful with how I phrase things because the world is listening. So I do have tactics that I still have to use. I am still in treatment, but I'm so much better than I was, and I'm better all the time. And that's just the attitude that I have. And you have to cheer yourself to and through everything. And I don't know if you guys ever saw the talk that I did. I did a talk at an amazing conference last year called Archangel, and I went over what I use, and it's cheerleading. I believe that cheerleading taught me everything I need to know about life, and that if you cheer for yourself and cheer for other people, it literally unlocks superpowers, and it makes you feel better, and you can cheer yourself to and through everything. So I do a lot of cheering all day, every day.
Yeah, encourage one another, be positive, uplift other people, and yeah, if you're depressed, that's a great way to do that. And but Nicole, you don't have to worry about what you say. It's just you and I right now. Just you and I talking. Yeah. Just you and I, so don't even worry. So you were a Toronto Raptors cheerleader.
Yes.
Was Drake involved with the Raptors at that point?
No, he wasn't. But I'm so glad he is now.
He's quite the representative for them.
He's the official representative. He's on contract.
Yeah. And he definitely knows how to get a little bit of attention, obviously through his music, but through social media and that kind of stuff, and you're kind of kindred spirits in that. So you had some videos that went very, very, very viral. I mentioned in the intro, over 700 million views. And, so that just didn't happen by accident. And I've actually heard you say before that you don't even have to have a great marketing plan, just have great content.
Well, you do have to have a marketing plan, but it's not about, spending a ton of money on a video. It is about having great content. And thank you for the intro, but a lot of those views were on Facebook, which is one of my favorite platforms as well, not just YouTube. I love it because there's that instant share button, which is awesome. But yeah, basically, I came up with a marketing plan. I was sick of old white dudes telling me what I can or can't do or say, even though I knew what people my age and other ages wanted to hear. And I got sick of other people taking credit for my work too, because I did a lot of work with different marketing agencies and stuff like that. So I created my own plan to push out these videos. I used a baseball lineup as the way that I would do it. So basically I lined up the topics and decided which one would go first, which, pop up that nice home run just to get people's attention, then hit a single, a double, bunt out the one right before Dear Fat People, load those bases, and then push out the next big video to knock all the other ones around, and then just go again. And you just got to keep going.
We hope that you are enjoying this conversation with Nicole Arbour. She's fun to talk with, and it's awesome listening to her story of how she overcame the challenge of being in an accident and being on disability. This takes a great deal of courage, resiliency, and mental toughness. Some of these same characteristics that Nicole has demonstrated throughout her life are highlighted in our book, Building Champions, Success Principles from A to Z. It's packed full of practical insights and fun stories. You can find out more about this easy-to-read book by visiting buildingchampionsthebook.com. And now, back to this fun chat with Nicole Arbour. So you've put out videos, and they've been, to a degree, controversial. Some people love them, some people hate them. Has there been some things throughout your career that maybe you've done or said that you actually wish that you hadn't done? That maybe if you had to do it all over again, you would have done something different or had a different tact?
I would have liked to have been, it would have been cool if The View didn't lie to me about why I was going on their show. They prefaced my team with that I was going on to talk about females in comedy and how there's a double standard with what we can say and with what they can say. And I'm like, okay, yeah, totally. That does attribute to a lot of the controversy I get. Male comics talk about the exact same topics, but it's not a controversy when they say it. But then the second I got there, they just wanted to railroad me about Dear Fat People and act like I'm the devil to cover up the fact that they offended nurses the day before. So in hindsight, I've learned a lot about PR since then, and I would have liked to have been more prepped for that, maybe done things a bit differently, but I like the way I handled it. A whole bunch of people yelling at me shows who they are, not me. Seriously, I think that if you have to raise your voice to win a debate, that just means you lost.
Yeah, that's a great point. Use a little bit more logic. Just because you talk louder doesn't mean people will understand.
Definitely. And yeah, the point that they brought up too, I wish I said what I really thought. I was extra polite, but I wouldn't do that again.
On the reverse, what are some things that you look back on and you're just most proud of? Some of your accomplishments, obviously overcoming your disability or getting off your grandma's floor, to be successful. What are some other things other than that you're hugely proud of?
I think the scariest moment that I've being honest and totally real with you right now, the scariest moment that I had wasn't any of my videos. It wasn't any of the press or going to the Emmys or any of that kind of stuff. It was last year at Archangel, 2 minutes before I went on stage to tell my real story, because being a comic, being an entertainer, whatever, that's the act, and you're still kind of hiding behind a persona a little bit. But that was just my real life. And I was physically shaking and so nervous. And I've done stand-up for giant crowds for festivals. I've never been nervous like that. And I was so nervous that when I got off stage, and I didn't rehearse or anything, that was just off my head. And I was just so proud of myself that I actually did it when I was terrified. And I knew that I had to, because other people needed to hear it so that it can help other people and start what I think is my actual purpose and journey. That's what I'm proud of. Well,
that was a great speech for being your first speech, and we'll definitely put that in the show notes so people can go check that out.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, real good. And you're working with businesses too. Businesses want to bring you in, do some consulting and stuff. Is that something that you want to do more of in the future?
I love doing that. I love helping people because it seems like a lot of people are risk adverse, and I just know that risk is the only way to see big reward. And I've consistently done it. I have over 55 viral videos now for myself and clients that I have. So I love helping other people win. It just makes me really happy. So I do love consulting, and I am working with some massive companies right now that I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you. My team is shaking no. Okay. I can tell you after press releases go out, but I absolutely love consulting for people and helping them out too. And I know that the digital media world is new for a lot of people. And I also know there's a lot of phonies out there that say they're a social media expert and they have 10,000 followers, that an expert doth not you make. So I love helping people out and helping them just reach their goals. It's fun. It feels like a big old team.
So you mentioned that, when you got off your grandma's floor and you essentially got going again, you went out and bought some books. Do you continue to read books? Do you listen to podcasts? What are some things you're doing to strengthen your mind, I guess?
Well, that's part of how I got better is I cut out all negativity, like all of it. I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching TV shows like CSI that would make me feel tense after or scared. And I switched to an all positivity diet, like mental diet. So that meant watching multiple sermons a day, podcasts, Oprah Super Soul, Joel Osteen, all of the different pastors that I think are hilarious and have great messages, all the business podcasts that I could possibly listen to. I love the Top 10 series on YouTube. I think they do a fantastic job. And I still do that. So every day I listen to at least one full podcast. Big fan of the Super Soul stuff. Gary Vee, obviously I love Brad on the business side. I consume as much as I possibly can. Someone gave me Lori Harder's new book, so I'm reading that one. I'm reading Crushing It. I have so many books right now. I have a Forbes list. I have a whole bunch of stuff, but I just think what's really important is to just fill your mind with it every single day. I do at least one full podcast and a sermon. Plus, to be real, I'm listening to podcasts all day long. And it has to be me learning something or making me feel better and learn something about myself, like emotionally and spiritually. Because we used to be in school for like 8 hours a day, and then we just kind of stopped learning. So I think it's important to keep it going and keep it positive. And you can change any mood that you're in. Oh yeah, Tony Robbins is fantastic too. Any of his stuff is just instant mood lifter. Brene Brown, so many. I'm just shouting out everybody right now.
No, that's awesome. Those are great. And Tony Robbins is the man. And how he can do a whole weekend, like essentially talk for the whole weekend, not just 1 hour at a time. He's amazing.
I'm not surprised at all because a lot of the technique, when I learned a lot of the techniques that he uses, those were the exact same techniques that I was using to get over severe and work through physical chronic pain. So change of state. And I use NLP in my videos. So I that's why I do my editing the way I do, is because I want to reset the audience so that they're consistently refocusing on the new messaging. And I was doing a lot of this stuff already. So it kind of felt like when I went into all the self-help people and the gurus and the business gurus, I felt like, oh, there's my trad. There they are. This is what I was doing.
So what do you do when you're not putting out videos, when you're not essentially working?
I don't do anything that's not working right now. I feel like I'm behind because I spent so many years in bed and not doing stuff that when I was disabled, one thing that kept me going was getting other projects ready. So I would tell myself, when you get better, you have to be ready. So I was writing scripts. When you get better, you have to have these books ready. So I have all this awesome stuff from feature films to TV shows to books to products and lipsticks and everything ready to go now. And now we're in the go for launch phase and it's so exciting. So there isn't a lot of free time, but I work all day every day and it's still fun for me to go to, the gym or work out and stuff. That's still part of work, but it's fun time too.
Well, you definitely got to make sure you go to the gym, right? Because you got to stay in shape or else some of those videos might come back to haunt you.
Well, no, I have to or I'll be in physical pain. Yeah, well, but it's good for you. Yeah, I'll never be super duper fat and it wouldn't haunt me either. It would never haunt me. That video was right.
You've done a bunch of awesome things in your life. What are some things that are still on your bucket list? What would you love to still do?
Well, in terms of like fun things, well, obviously releasing the books is on the bucket list, getting my show in Vegas. I have like giant, massive goals and helping as many people as possible. I'm so excited to be releasing the Go Team Academy, which is going to be online e-courses to help a lot of people. I believe that's coming out this fall. So that's bucket list stuff. And then other random things like pilot lessons, which I'm doing soon, and, surfing. And I just have so many life things that I want to do because I spent so many years in pain and not able to do much. So I just live life fast and do stuff when it comes up and say yes a lot. It's really fun.
So let's talk about your Go team, because you get criticized for some things, but you also help a lot of people, and that's a passion of yours, I can tell. So what's a Go team?
Go team. That's my mantra. That is my team. I don't like to think I have fans. I have a team. We all work together. We all cheer for each other. And the whole mantra of the Go team is that I can cheer for you because I know I'm rad too. It's not competition. It's co-opetition. You being awesome doesn't make me less awesome. So let's all be awesome together. And you can cheer yourself to and through anything. And I really, like I said, I believe everything can be solved through cheering and the principles of it. And it's positive energy and it works and it's proven to work. And you're not going to find anybody at the top of any game in the world that isn't already utilizing it. So I just want to teach it to as many people as possible.
So what advice would you have? We talked earlier about overcoming obstacles, and there's a lot of people that are out there that says, well, maybe you don't know my situation, or I can't quite do that. I'm not as tough as you. I'm not a mental ninja like you. What would be the very first step for somebody like that maybe hasn't come to that realization yet?
Well, my first response to them, if they were like, oh, I can't do that like you, I'd be like, not with that attitude. Because it's a switch. And I wasn't just like this. I wasn't just like, yeah, the whole time. I fell into my hole. I've had those darkest nights where I was going to commit suicide and I was planning what I would leave for each family member. I've been to the bottom multiple times. So I know that it's a claw on the way up, but it's a deciding to claw yourself up. So I just think everybody has to sit there and go, do I like where I am? Is this it for me? If I don't like it, then I have to make a change, and nobody can make the change for me but me. All that is on me. This is all me. And the second that you stop blaming other people or your circumstances or whatever it is, and you just go for it, the faster that your life is going to change. And you want it to change because you don't like where it is, or you wouldn't be complaining in the first place.
Well, people can find you, Nicole Arbour, ARBOUR.ca, as in Canada.
That's right.
Is that what it's for?
Yeah.
For Canada. NicoleArbour.ca is her website. You can follow her on Instagram at @IBNicoleArbour. And you can check her out on Twitter at Nicole Arbour. And we'll put all this stuff in the show notes that she mentioned. She's also been on Dropping Bombs with the real Brad Lee. Which,
that's fun.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he was on our show, episode 66. If you haven't checked that out, you'll want to go back and check that out, because he definitely drops bombs on our show as well as when people appear on his show. So we'll link all that stuff into the show notes. Nicole, appreciate your time. It was enjoyable. I know you're busy, so thanks so much. And I think you maybe motivated one or two people out there, and they'll go check out your Go team, and maybe they'll join up with your team.
Well, frankly, I hope I did. That's the point of all of this stuff is, don't do as I say, do as I've done and do. So follow me. Come on, let's go play.
Well, and, you say a lot of things that are controversial, but some of that's entertainment. Some of it is actually what you think, but all of it should make you think. Regardless what side of the aisle you are, or if you're offended by it, you should at least think, and it should at least solidify why you are even offended. Not that you should be offended by many things, but it should make you think.
Well, definitely. I like to start the conversations, and then it helps people strip things down to their beliefs and wonder why they believe them in the first place.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
I enjoyed chatting with Nicole today. As an entertainer, Nicole Arbour has said and done some controversial things, but through her use of humor, she is always trying to make people think. Her videos and interviews may not necessarily be for the faint of heart, but she does raise some points about some issues. I do like the fact that she has overcome obstacles in her life by deciding that she is going to be a victor instead of a victim. She has chosen to be responsible for her life. We hope that you were entertained a little by Nicole's visit to our show. You may have learned a little bit more about who she really is. Sometimes we only see the performance side of celebrities, so it was nice to hear some of Nicole's background today. If you haven't yet done so, please take just a quick second to hit that little subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Thanks so much, and until next time, remember that success is a choice. What choice will you make today?